Now, Lord, as we gather here in these moments, I thank you for the creation of government that your word says that you established long ago. I thank you for the support it offers. I thank you for public servants that are sitting right here before us today, and I pray over every one of them, Lord, that they might be strengthened by you and used by you to make wise decisions. Lord, that they might make discerning decisions, and they might bring justice to bear in this area, in this Smith Station. Lord, thank you for their work, and I lift them up to you in that way. Lord, I pray that everything that's done here in these moments at this meeting would be done in such a way as to create more peace, more harmony, and a community that can raise families that build us a stronger city and a stronger community in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I call this the City Council meeting of Smith Station meeting to order. Today's date is August 22nd, 2022. The time is 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, Dr. Ellison, for doing our invocation. Thank you, Mr. Jackson, for doing our pledge. At this time, I'd have a roll call vote to establish a quorum.
Yes, sir. Mr. Stringer? Here. Mr. Jackson? Here. Mr. Lanston? Mr. Cooley? Here. Ms. Green?
Here.
Mayor Copeland?
Here. Well, I'd like to take this time to ask someone to make a motion to approve the minutes for the August 9, 2022 City Council meeting. You have them digitally as well as hard copy. Motion to approve. Mr. Cooley.
Second.
Thank you.
Mayor Copeland, I make a motion we suspend rules of ordinance and resolutions so that we can take care of several items on our agenda tonight.
Mr. Cooley has made a motion to suspend the Alabama rules and ordinances and resolutions so we can move forward on some items that need to be dealt with tonight. Can I get a second? Second. Mr. Lanston, any discussion? None being brought forth, I call for the vote.
Yes, sir. Mr. Stringer?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Lanston?
Yes.
Mr. Cooley?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mayor Copeland?
Yes. Item 7A, 2022-453.1, amend contract with Wayne Gentry Builders for Island Road Improvement Project. Could you read that for us, please?
Yes, sir. Resolution Amendment 2022-453.1, a resolution amendment to amend Resolution 2022-453, a resolution for the City of Smith Station, Alabama, authorizing Mayor Copeland to accept the bid and enter into a contract with Wayne Gentry Builders for Island Road, Lee Road 296 improvements.
You've heard the motion, you've heard the introduction, can I get a motion, a second?
I make motion to approve.
As you know, when we bid on this road, we had America's CARES Act money up to $150,000, and prices between the time we started to the time that we got to the road, shot through the roof. The city's gonna be responsible for some $20,000 above what the actual cost was. I think it's money well spent to improve that road. We've had several people give us compliments, so I think it's money well spent. Any other discussion?
But they didn't want to get it's 297.
They did Mullen Road over Mill Creek several months ago,
And not all.
and yes.
Okay, so we have used them a few times.
Yes.
Any other discussion? Not being called for, I call for the vote.
Yes, sir. Mr. Stringer?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Lanston?
Yes.
Mr. Cooley?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mayor Copeland?
Yes. Item 2022-481. I feel like I want to get Mr. Langston to introduce this one because this is right up his wheelhouse. A purchase of compact mini excavator for the Public Works Department. Can you introduce that for us?
Yes, sir. Resolution 2022-481, a resolution of the City of Smith Station, Alabama, authorizing the purchase of the 2022 E60 R2- Series Bobcat compact excavator from the Bobcat of Opelika dealership for the city's Public Works Department in an amount not to exceed $81,000.
You've heard the introduction. Can I get a motion, a second?
Motion to approve.
Second. I said, second. This is a mini excavator we're needing as part of our public work department. We're choosing as a city to finance this. And this will be part, we have rented so far, we have a lot that needs to be done. So we're looking at 60 to 90 days from receiving this. We're gonna purchase the trailer outside of this on our own recognizance. So this is gonna be the beginning of being able to do a lot more work, as far as drainage, ditches, beaver dams, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Is that warranty then?
There's a warranty in there. It's not written in there,
I see 2 years, like,
yeah.
2 years of 20,000, is that $200,000, $20,000? Hours, I'm sorry, 2,000 hours, I believe it is.
2 years to 2,000 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, Mr. Stringer, when we get this in, we get it going, we've already found a drum head we can order to do what you've been wanting us to do. I think the drum head's $5,000, so then we'll purchase that.
So we will just see some improvement.
We'll be able to get out there like you did talk about, get out there. Any other discussion? None being brought forth, I call for the vote.
Yes, sir. Mr. Stringer?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Lanston?
Yes.
Mr. Cooley?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mayor Copeland?
Yes. Ordinance, amendment 2020-174.3, license ordinance section, 3 license term, issuance fee, minimum license.
So can we just a moment? Business license ordinance amendment 2020-174.3, an ordinance of the city of Smith Station, Alabama to amend ordinance 2020-174, business license ordinance amending section 3, license term, issuance fees, minimum license, item C.
You've heard Mr. Price introduce that. This is to go up to $14 for issuance fee for the business license. Can I get a motion second?
Make a motion.
Ms. Green?
Second.
Jackson, any discussion? This is parallel with state, what most municipalities in the state are doing, so. Any other discussion? None being brought forth, I call for the vote.
Yes, sir. Mr. Stringer?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Lanston?
Yes.
Mr. Cooley?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mayor Copeland?
Yes. Someone said, oh, the big document in there.
Well, it has to redo the whole ordinance. Certify it.
Item number 9, financial statement, general fund budget for the month ending July 31st, 2022.
Yes, sir. So everyone will start on page 1 for the month of July 2022. Park league fees, $0, 0 cents. Total property rental income was $4,567.22. Total contributions income, which is the second portion of the American Rescue Plan funds for us, was $386,013.38. Total ad valorem tax income was $15,615.48. Total business license income was $5,381.24. Total public works revenue was $20,833.37. Over on page 2, total sales and use tax was $68,242.52. Total wholesale gasoline revenue was $17,392.34. Our total income for the month of July 2022 was $557,777.53. Starting with expenses on page 3, total administrative department expenses for the month were $35,256.74. Over on page 4 now, total finance and revenue department expenses were $15,653.04. Total parks and recreation department expenses for the month were $20,284.68. Over on the last page, page 5, total public works department expenses were $81,563.91, bringing our net income for the month of July 2022 to $404,350.82. Our net income for this fiscal year to present is $822,989.50.
Okay, I'd like to pause for a moment before I ask you approval. That 404-350-82, needs to be minus 386,013.38. That money's, that money is earmarked, restricted, so we need to make sure that we understand that. The 822,989.50 is minus 386,013.38, for it to be the actual, is what we've done. So the 386,013, we had two American Rescue Plan payments, and those are already restricted and spoken for. Anybody have any other questions?
Do you know off the top of your head, just, we go back to the past 2 months, we did have a significant increase in road and street maintenance from about 6,000 normally to 31,000. So those were some of were those the May activity stuff we did, or?
Our equipment rentals, we've done a lot of patching, that's what I would attribute to, but I can get more specifics for you tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it went, we've been, the past 2 months, May and June, it was around 6,000. This month, it's 31,000.
We bought a lot of asphalt, done a lot of patching of,
Tamp
Would the TAMP be part of that?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Temp be part of that. And I
Smaller
do
piece of
believe,
equipment.
also do believe that grapple truck was part of that too.
You think it may have just been,
Yes, that's
Okay,
right, we did
okay.
that, and that was 20,000.
okay, so then that's good.
Taking a motion second for the financial statement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Jackson Green is what I have.
Keith's
Mr. Green. Mr. Green. Council, based upon our current ordinances, or current agreements, according to the state of Alabama, we allow each person that speaks to have 3 minutes. I'm going to ask if you'll allow me tonight to use an extension of allowing one person to have 5 minutes, because he's requested that. I think he has deserved that. So if that's okay with you, everyone? Anybody opposed to that? I'm going to call Mr. Ronald Lowe from 238 12 Oak Drive, Smith Station, Alabama, for public.
How you doing? My name is Ronald Luke. You're gonna be getting 2 copies from me. One is gonna be of a slideshow, and one is gonna be Resolution 2020-363. So I own the property at 238 12 Oaks Drive that I purchased on 22 July of last year. I've had water damage flooding 3 times in the last year of ownership, 4 October 21, 4 February 22, and 6 April 22, along with previous floodings from the previous owner I bought the house from. I went and informed the city after the second flooding within that week. I spoke with 2 code enforcement officers who said it was a 100-year flood and they will look into it. No contact or plan of action from that meeting. The third flooding happened on 6 April. I filed a formal complaint on the City of Smith Station government website on 6 April. This complaint had multiple videos and pictures of damages and flooding. And from what I know, I've already seen all the videos and pictures. After I continued to push for action after months of waiting and meetings with Mayor Copeland and other city officials, I received a 2022-8-11 general release and hold harmless agreement on 11 August. This paperwork wants me to waive all previous damages, current work to come onto my property, and all future possible damages from flooding. The city is obligated to ensure that the public culvert on a public roadway allows rainwater to flow freely to prevent backup water onto private property. I cited a legal action that happened in the state of Alabama. I won't explain it. You're welcome to read it because we are limited on time. If you flip to the next page, it is a comparative look at public liability for flood hazard mitigation by Dr. John Kuzner, prepared for the Association of State Floodplain Managers Foundation. The state of Alabama is a member of this association. Factors considered relevant by courts in determining whether governments are liable. This is a portion within the book that governs or that talks about the liability of local governments. When you flip to the next page, I went to the conclusion of the same book, and it says, quote, governments face the greatest risk of liability when they increase flood hazards and flood losses on private lands by filling, grading, ditching, or constructing roads, bridges, dams, levees, seawalls, or stormwater systems. This is particularly true when governments fail to adequately maintain and operate flood control and stormwater structures. Courts hold governments liable like private landowners or governments own and manage government property, including flood control structures. And I've already cited this on page 49 of that book. The next page was the video on a slideshow of the flooding. And again, from what I know, y'all have already witnessed and seen the video that I taped on my property. The next page is a picture of a parking pad driveway to back up creek because the rainwater cannot flow. The next page, or the next picture, is a 60-inch culvert that goes underneath the public road and is feet under the water. You cannot even see the culvert, and it's 60 inches. That water is like a drain plug, and it cannot go under the road and therefore back into my property. Next page, water damages in my garage. Most items were lost. After the second flood, I bought hydro barriers to barrier the garage door openings. The water went above them after the third flooding and still came inside. Backed up onto my garage from the creek, as you can see, the water is encroaching onto my property, into my home. The next picture is a normal day at the creek, so you can see what the actual culvert opening looks like when there's no rain yet. Next page, I will not sign the rights of my property away for any possible future damages from flooding. No homeowner would, to include yourselves. I will not. What exactly is an incentive for the city to do the project right if I was to waive all future possible flooding liability? Per Resolution 2020-363, which you have a copy of, the city assumes liability and responsibility of all roads to include stormwater drainage systems and culverts. See page 5 of that resolution. The city agreed to all liability issues from the county from any claims made after the first spending of $250,000, which has taken place. See page 7. I have been a huge advocate of Cena Station. I am retired Army and have many friends in the area that will be also moving into the area in the future. I do not want to change my tune to the status of the city and possibly enlighten others to my current issues. The city has been made aware of this multiple times about the flooding issue. The mayor has said voting and action to fix the situation will be delayed if I don't sign the paperwork waiving all my rights. It is the city's job to take care of the citizens. Any questions?
My first question to you is, do you have counsel already?
I do.
You have hired counsel?
I have been talking. So let me clarify. I have zero intent to go after the city in anything, okay? I'm willing to waive any previous damages, and I will do that. What my concern is waiving the life of my house and the life of the property for any future damages. That is a concern of mine.
Okay.
I have no intent on coming after the city for anything.
So I'm gonna ask the question again, because I'm not clear on that. Do you have an attorney that you have hired already?
I have an attorney for other issues, but not for this. Because I have no, again, this is on the record, I have no intent on coming after the city for anything. I just want.
We can have a discussion, and I have to have permission from my counsel.
Yes.
If you have hired counsel on this matter, this is.
It's not formal, it's not formal.
Okay.
And again, I'm being as open as I can. I love it here. I advocate for the city. Y'all just don't understand how many people I've tried to pull to come to us. This is a default town along the Harris County for anybody that comes to Fort Benning. Y'all know that. I love it here. My kids love the schools here. That's another reason why we didn't even go to Fort Mitchell. So I'm still an advocate. I'm asking y'all to please help me with this. I cannot stay up and wait every time it rains to worry about flooding. I can't do that.
Okay.
Is that
Counsel,
just,
would you like me to answer, or would you like to stay?
Well, if he has counsel, I'm in a position, I can't communicate with someone represented by counsel.
the counsel I have is not with future. It's only for previous, and again, y'all are not, does that make sense?
It does, but we can't have a discussion if you have counsel at all, it has to go.
But I haven't paid them, it was just general talk. I didn't, so it's nothing formal. It's nothing formal, I didn't pay them or anything, it's just, because I'm in an unknown situation, I've never had to come to a city or a county, and because usually it's pretty two-way communication, and I've talked to Maricopa, who's been to my house, and I believe to this moment it's been good communication, but I cannot sign a whole performance agreement waiving all the rights of my property forever. I can't do that. I don't mind waiving the rights.
We've had 5 people sign hold harmless agreements so far, and it's not to hurt you. If we have anything above a 25-year flood, which we're questioning if this 60 inch, if we're questioning whether or not we're responsible for this, but you were sold a bill of goods, we already discussed that, okay? So, we are willing as a council to move forward with it, but the only way that we can do this by not setting a precedent is by you signing that whole harmless agreement. Because if you have a 30-year flood, a 50-year flood, 100-year flood, there's nothing we can do. My house is gonna be gone on a 30-year flood or 50-year flood. What I have proposed to you is the 25-year floodplain, this will do it. We have not had an over 25-year floodplain since I've been mayor. So what we have proposed to you is a whole harmless agreement saying, we're going to repair this road, we're gonna do that, if you'll sign this whole harmless agreement. Now, if you have a 30-year flood or 50-year flood, half of your house is in a floodplain. USDA says that as well as the GIS says that. So my house is in a floodplain. My personal house is. So we're gonna do the work if you sign the agreement. If you don't sign the agreement, we're gonna have to go to council.
So I went on to FEMA.gov. My house, my entire property I own is not highlighted in any way in a flood zone. It is not. Across the street, past Mr. Bob's house is, where there's a pond, okay? I don't see it. If y'all believe that if the 60-inch or adding the addition is gonna be good, then why not take it off? What is the harm? If y'all believe that the 25-year barrier that y'all want to install is going to be enough, then why can't we just take off the waiving of the future liability?
If we have a 30-year floodplain and we fix this, or if we have another situation where we feel like it doesn't warrant that with this, it's already good, built to a 25-year floodplain, who's to say we're not gonna have another Mr. Logan or Mr. Luke? Who's to say we're not? We have to make sure we protect the interest of the taxpaying citizens of the city. We're willing to fix your problem. We're just asking you to trust us to do that. And if you don't, I understand, we'll let our council handle it. But we're willing to fix your problem.
Why can't, I'm asking, now this question's to the council, because,
They only go through me.
okay, well, it's not, it's as a whole, it's just a general statement. Because all my discussion has been directed with the mayor. I'm asking, and the statements to y'all, I'm asking y'all, what would you do? If it was your home that you just bought, right, and you're having to wait the rest of the duration of the life of the property on the hope that the action that the city voted on is justified. Now, I'm gonna add another statement. When I asked why 48-inch and not another 60-inch, Mayor Copeland said that it would increase more water flow downstream. And then to my statement, because this was on my front doorstep, was, let me back up. When he said they would create more water downstream, I asked, so am I supposed to just eat the water? That's what I said. So I'm supposed to just eat the indefinite water because there's still a restricted flow going downstream. At that moment, there has to be acknowledgement that there is still a possibility to reduce water flow, even when I asked for a 60-inch or even a bridge. I asked that, but I know a bridge is too much, okay? But a 60-inch, two 60 inches, because there's a 60-inch there now, may be justified. But of course, it's financially, you have to do the best for the citizens, understand? I can assure you that I am an advocate of this city and everything about it.
I can assure you I'm an advocate of you. I mean, I think that you're a good man. I think you're an honest man. I think the world of you. I'm willing to fix your problem. I just need you to meet me halfway. If you can't meet me halfway, I understand. I understand your emotions and your feelings. But you also got to understand that there's also 5,700 residents that live in Smith Station. And I'm asking you to help meet me halfway. If you don't, I understand. But I'm asking, we're willing to fix this to a 25-year floodplain. I've showed you the plans. I've been by your house, showed you the physical plans. And your house won't flood if this is done. Your yard may get a little high, but your house won't flood. So I'm asking you to meet me halfway. If you can't, I understand, we'll move forward.
Would the city be willing to negotiate me waiving all previous, all right? And the only adjustment to the whole harmless agreement will be to waive future. That's all I'm asking, that's the only thing I'm asking.
Honestly, believe, Mr. Luke, that the problem is not the city's problem. I believe the problem is the person that built the house, but the problem is the person that sold you the house. I believe the problem is the person that mortgaged you the house. I truly believe that. I'm saying again, I'm trying to help. And if that's not what you want, I understand. I truly do, because I understand. But at our expense, we're gonna add another light that's gonna help you a lot. So if you don't want to sign that, I understand. But as far as your question she was asked, the whole harmless agreement is not negotiable, because it was given us by our attorney.
That would be consensus amongst the whole panel? Or you can only speak for them?
Legally, I can only speak, but I tell you what we'll do. I'll go to executive session right now, discuss negotiation. I have to do it officially, so.
I understand,
I'll ask you to sit down, I'll call you back up.
That sounds
I'd like to make a motion that we go to executive session, discuss future litigation, with a certain, aspect. Can I get a second? Second. Any questions? Can I have a roll call vote?
Yes, sir. Mr. Stringer?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Lansky?
Yeah.
Mr. Cooley?
Yeah.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mayor Copeland?
Yes.
For how long?
Have a roll call vote?
Yes, sir. Mr. Stringer?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Mr. Lansky?
Yes.
Mr. Cooley?
Yeah.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mayor Copeland?
Yes. And if I butchered your name, I apologize. Is it French? French?
It's Luke like Luke Skywalker.
All right, there we go. Mr. Luke, will you come back and vote? So that council and I convened with our council, and, this is what we're saying. If you want to make changes to the whole harmless agreement, have your attorney send it to our attorney. If you don't want to make changes to the whole harmless agreement, or you don't have an attorney, then you either sign the whole harmless agreement or the deal's dead. That is the statement from the council.
Okay. And once the whole homeless, because again, I didn't hire one, it was just general talk. If I have to pay and hire one and then send, because obviously they don't do it for free, and give it to y'all, will y'all vote on it, or how does that work?
If you have the changes, and our counselor says that we accept that, then we'll vote on it. And we'll make sure that you know about it well in advance of the discussion. We won't leave you in the dark.
Okay.
But I will tell you this. We will only build to a 25-year floodplain.
That's fair. That's fair.
If you come back and say any future litigation that does with flooding on your property, you don't need to waste your money. That's the voice of the council. We're building this to a 25-year floodplain. So if you're going to your counselor and fighting that person saying, hey, I want to make sure in the future if we get a 30 or 40 or 50 or a 27-year flood, we're not going to do it. We're saying we're building what state law says, county law says, and what we're saying, a 25-year floodplain. So I don't want you to waste your money. I want you to think about it. And if you want this added to the next agenda item, if you'll send us that whole next meeting, if you'll send us the whole harmless bag, it'll be on the next meeting. We've already got the bids done, already got the engineering done. Everything is done. We're just waiting on you. So the ball's in your court now, and I'll repeat what I said. If you want your counsel to make any changes, have them send it. You can send it to Morgan. He'll forward it to her, and we'll put y'all in an email loop. If you want us to move forward with it, you sign the whole harmless, and we'll move forward with it.
Well, I just want that one part added, that's all. So I guess I have no choice but to contact my constable. And
And then, again, I just want to make it very, very clear. Any future litigation to do with flooding, if that's what your plan is, we're not going to move forward with it.
But I just want the verbiage in the non-homeless agreement of all future flooding taken off. That's all I want.
I wouldn't waste my money if I was you. Because that means if we get a 30-year flood, we'll be responsible for every piece of property in the city. We can't do that. We're telling you we're gonna build it to what, 25 years is what is required by us. So, I mean, think about it, you got till, the Friday of the next meeting to get it turned in. Think about it, and if that's not what you wanna do, but I promise, if you want that removed, don't hire a lawyer. Just a bit of advice.
So,
And that's the council's agreement, I promise you, we just talked about that.
well, thank you.
Mr. Johnny Ellison, 43 Lee Road, 321.
63.
Sorry.
That's no worry, that was right, it was 6 o'clock, I had to get down. I'm Johnny Ellison, I'm the current pastor of Chat Valley Church. My family and I moved here about 3.5 years ago. I finished up as the senior pastor at Golden Acres Baptist Church in Phoenix City as of June the 1st, as of June the 26th. Chat Valley Church met for the first time outdoors under a pole barn. And we are kind of establishing ourselves here in Smith Station. Our P.O. Box, even though where we're meeting right now, which we're renting space from Rocky Mount Baptist Church, which is a Salem address, but our P.O. Box is Smith Station and our bank is Phoenix Girard here in Smith Station. Is where we're kind of establishing. We're looking at our target area as being ground zero, starting somewhere from maybe Love's Truck Stop to maybe Bleecker Junction, right in that corridor. Ultimately, trying to find somewhere we can establish. I just wanted to say hello. I wanted to introduce Chat Valley Church. This is our graphic, our logo. Hope you'll be seeing more of us. We'll be active in the community. We'll be a Southern Baptist Church. Our name's Chat Valley Church. We'll be a Southern Baptist Church. There you go.
Do you have an ask of us?
An ask. Yes, I think I do. An ask that we have discussed. We have just literally today are entering into an agreement with the Ruritan Club for the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month to do kids ministry. We were averaging about somewhere around 110 to 120 people on Sunday evenings at 5, which is when we're meeting Sunday evenings at 5 p.m. at Rocky Mount Baptist. And we're looking to try to establish kids ministry on Wednesday nights. So we've got second and fourth Wednesdays, but we're also hoping that we could establish something possibly once a month out at the junction here on this property where we would be able to do some kids ministry, but it would be visible. And I think the request there was relative to the rent that's available there or required. The request would be what level of reduction would the city council possibly allow for on that? I think that, I don't know if I asked that properly or not, Mr. Mayor. But.
Yeah, thank you. We will discuss that at our next meeting. I'll give you a text and let you know if there will be any reduction at all on that once a month.
That'd be great.
I'll let you know. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor. Appreciate it.
Pastor John, it's way formal. I have a doctor. Pastor John is fine.
Yeah, just call me Bob. Are there any council member reports? Any word from our city councilor? Thank you for being here. We appreciate you being here. Thank you for representing us. At this time, I'd like to recognize the leader, Mr. Rico from WTVM. We appreciate you. And also Chris Gates from Bean. Toy Gar from Bean. We appreciate you being here. As always, thank you for being here. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Cooley.